Opening day is in the books. We've got the first weekend of Major League Baseball coming up. We are going to preview the MLB weekend slate at the end of the show, but we are going to recap opening day. The 14 games, not 15. Shout out the Rockies and the Rays at Steinbrenner that are getting going tonight. But we're going to talk about the 14 games, and I'll be honest, it's going to be kind of surface level from Aram Leighton and I. Aram was at Pirates Marlins, and that took up the entirety of the afternoon. I was at Pirates Marlins in a different capacity, but this was really fun. It's just
What were
baseball
you doing?
show. What?
I was like, what were you doing?
I was sitting right field corner. I was doing the nine beer, nine dog challenge.
I thought you were they had you in the marching band out there.
Yeah, that was good. The horns section at Lone Depot Park. But it is the Just Baseball Show. As always, we are presented by the fine folks at BetMGM. Before we get to Pirates Marlins, and listen, like I tried to catch up as much with the condensed
So
games
did
as
I.
I possibly could. I'm sure you did the same, but this is going to be one of the more hangout oriented Just Baseball shows that you've heard in a while.
Yeah, it's just we're gonna be scouting the stat line here. But realistically, it was one of the most fun days I've had in a little bit, or just a couple days, right? Like what we were able to do in Cincinnati, and I know Peter was out there. He and Colby stayed for the game out there. I didn't realize, and it might be like my most like I don't know, like my biggest oversight as a baseball guy is I always knew that it was a special occasion in Cincinnati, and like opening day always started in Cincinnati historically, but I didn't realize that they shut down the freaking city.
Yes.
That's the coolest shit in the world. And in any other circumstance, I was staying, but I mean, Griffin's in the opening day lineup. I'm going to be there. So 8 a.m. flight, book it back. We get there in time, fortunately, and was able to enjoy that game. Obviously, you're on the call too. Like I'm not missing that. But I was a little bit like sad. I didn't realize how insanely cool Cincinnati is for opening day. So that's Peter can talk further about that, like when he comes on, for his episode next week. But like that's a bucket list item thing, I think, for any baseball fan to catch an opening day there. And then on top of that, being able to go on the field before the game, did the spot with Foul Territory. They were nice enough to have me on, talk a little prospects. But getting on that field, man, it's so funny because we always talk about how small it is. And I'm like standing right there by the dugout and I'm looking out and I'm like, dude, you could give me the most jolted up metal bat and I could have weeks to train. I'm still not hitting it out of here.
Yep.
And everyone's like, what a joke this stadium is. I'm like,
Yeah.
this
Great
looks
American
big.
Small Park, man.
Yeah, this looks huge.
Yeah.
So again, it was just another one of those reminders that it's really hard to do what these guys do.
It's really hard, and sometimes you get up and you turn on 96 elevated and you walk off a baseball game, which is what we saw when you've historically struggled with elevated fastballs at
Hmm.
94 plus. But we're going to get to that one. I was curious about Cincinnati. I wanted to start with that because you were out there the day before opening day. You did a great spot with our friends at Foul Territory, prospect oriented. Did you give a rookie of the year pick too?
I did. I went Matt Shaw on the National League side, and then they didn't ask for like my actual prediction on the American League side, but Kratz asked about Jackson Jobe and Andrew Painter and that just comparison between the two, which was interesting and fun. But yeah, I laid out my Matt Shaw case, and then I got to talk a little Dalton Rushing too, which was nice.
Nice. Can we address the elephant in the room when it comes to Jackson Jobe? Like, there's a lot of people saying, hey, the fastball got hit pretty hard in spring training. He wasn't getting many swings and misses. He's really good. He's really talented. But it was kind of weird that he wasn't striking out the world with that stuff in spring training.
It was, and I think that's where the execution side is going to ultimately just be the differentiator, and then just consistency, like execution of that fastball, because at the end of the day, it's 97, 98, and at least sitting 96. If you're spotting that, it's the shape doesn't matter nearly as much. But on top of that, it's okay. This is not going to be a guy that's throwing his fastball 50% of the time. We already know he has the elite slider. We already have seen him with a changeup that flashes plus, and he's added this cutter that looks like it can be a well above average pitch as well. The challenge was last year, those secondaries were not consistent enough for him. So if he's landing all of those for a strike at a high clip, great. You can cut into that fastball usage and it's not going to be as much of a problem. I think what we're just seeing now is it's not going to be the get out of jail free fastball that some guys have, that some of the top arms have. But I don't think he needs it to be a top 30 pitcher in the game. So I don't think that's going to happen this year. But as the execution and feel for the entire arsenal continues to develop, I do think that's going to come. And it's important to remember, like, he missed time last year with something that could very directly affect his ability to execute and locate a hamstring issue that it kept him out, and then he had to get back there, and then they put him in the bullpen where I don't think you're thinking about your entire arsenal. Then you're just going, let it eat with the fastball and the slider. And now I think it's back to, okay, complete arsenal. Let's make it all work. And I think he's going to find that ability to balance everything out.
What did you end up siding with, Job or Painter? Did they ask you just who's the
It
better
was just
pitching
who's more
prospect?
polished. And I was
Who's
like,
more polished?
whoa, that's an interesting question. And I leaned polish on Painter just because of the feel for those secondaries. But I said it's kind of a caveat here, though. We haven't seen him throw in like 2, 3 years essentially, but it's 2 years. But other than the Arizona Fall League, which I wasn't going to take anything from the Arizona Fall League other than does he look like Andrew Painter? Yes, he looks like Andrew Painter. That's
Yep.
all we cared about. But you can't be like, oh, there's the polish as he works his way back from missing about 2 years. I think we saw that the stuff was there again, but when he's at his best, it's the fastball command is a little bit better. The slider is just disgusting, and the changeup feel has been a little bit more consistent. He just doesn't use it as much. So
Yep.
Painter's also a guy that's been pitching like his whole life, and Job's a converted shortstop. So that's why I do feel like Job's gonna continue to develop that feel and still become that above average command guy that we always thought he could be as an elite athlete on the mound.
Yep. So we just talked to Andrew Painter and Jackson Job, two guys that did not throw yesterday on an
Yeah.
opening day recap episode. So there we go. But again, it was awesome to see you on Foul Territory in Cincinnati the day before opening day, and then Peter with the folks at Foul Territory on opening day in Cincinnati. We're going to hear about opening day in Cincinnati from Peter on the Monday show and the weekend roundup. But we were at a pretty darn good baseball game on Thursday, amigo.
Yeah, that one was fun, huh?
It was good. That was a 5-4 win for the Marlins over the Pirates. Opening day in Miami, over 31,000 people were there. Skeens and Sandy looked the part through the first 4 innings,
Yeah.
I'd say. Both those guys were dominant, and we showed up for what we, came to see. And I mean, dude, it just seemed like they both tired a little bit in the fifth, and then after that, chaos ensued. But it was the best chaos.
Skeens got BABIP'd for sure.
Yes.
Like well, and I don't know if they overturned it. I know
It's
you're going to
not.
be
It's a hit. I know what you're talking about. The Graham
yeah,
Pauley check swing. Yeah.
yeah, and I know you're going to be pro. Give the Marlins all their hits. You should. That, in my opinion, just in my humble opinion, not a hit at all. I take it. I want Paulie to get his hits as he tries to get his feet back under him, and kind of thrust it into an opening day situation where I don't think he was expecting to be because Norby went down with that oblique issue, and I thought his ABs were great, and I mean, you'll take it, but it was like a play to the shortstop who threw it up the line, and it would have a good throw would have beat him. Wasn't an easy play, so I am pro also not just absolutely hosing the defenders either on errors. We'll go talk about defense too, by the way, because there's one clear takeaway I had defensively for the Pirates that was
Mm-hmm.
a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But no, man, I will say the Marlins ABs, given what was expected, was pretty impressive. That Xavier Edwards kind of set the tone, just seeing a ton of pitches. But I got to sneak behind home plate there, and I got to watch the game, kind of from that vantage point, which is just like a bucket list item to be able to see Paul Skeens and Sandy right from behind home. And I'm just staring at the release, almost just trying to like pretend I'm in the box there to try to pick up the difference out of the hand. Hilarious, absolutely hilarious. The I got a text from Jeff Conine during the game. He's like, "What's the Skeen stuff look like back there?" And I was like, "You could give me like a any amount of money to be able to pick when the fastball or the splinker is coming out, and I would whiff every single time. Like it's and that's just saying like what pitch is coming out,
Yeah.
and that's what makes skiing so tough. Is it is, and also we talk about the deception where everyone is always talking about fastball shape, sitting right there behind home plate. There's a lot more deception to that like slingshot kind of around his body delivery that you don't really see from television, I think, where it is a lot more deceptive than people think. All the swings were super late, but the splinker really I gained I didn't need to gain any more appreciation for it,
Yeah.
but I gained even more when it's not just about how it moves and it's oh my gosh, 95 with that much movement. That's the fastball until it's maybe 15 feet from home plate, and then it's not.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to watch. And then Sandy just with his arm side run, a couple of those 20-inch horizontal fastballs. I mean, I don't know how guys pull the trigger. It looks like it's a ball and it just runs right back over, and that's why he froze a lot of guys looking. That was special to watch. And I mean, we could be looking at. I mean, Skeens is the favorite to win the Cy Young, and I still think Sandy can very easily finish in the top five. And he was my dark horse pick. If if assuming the innings count, we don't know that we've heard all mixed things, but if he throws 180 innings this year, which would still be down from what he normally throws,
Yeah.
he could easily be in the top three.
I got chills actually. Like I just got some goosebumps hearing you talk about that from behind home plate. Like a greater appreciation for two of I think when Sandy's healthy, two of the top five arms on planet Earth. Like
Yeah.
I clump him in with Wheeler, I clump him in with Skubal at this point, and Corbin Burns. But like Sandy Alcantara and Paul Skeens are there. And if Sandy is healthy and back from Tommy John, and again he looked healthy all spring, he looked really healthy yesterday, just tired a little bit in the
Yeah.
fourth. Like those are two of the top five people on the planet at what they do. And the fact that you, who watches as much baseball as you do and talks to as many hitters as you do, just gained a greater sense of appreciation for both of those guys where everything is documented. Like, that's the beauty of baseball. You don't realize the look that you get until you get it. And it's like, whoa, I understand why Jackson Holliday said 100 felt like 110 now about Paul
Yep.
Skeens and
That
Sandy.
I cited that exactly,
Yeah,
when I was sitting there because it was like that's where the Stuff Plus models are just not gonna quite grab that just yet, and maybe we'll get there one day. But and I know that Stuff Plus is still gonna love all of the arsenal of
because
both of
it's
these guys, but
100. Yeah.
it's it still isn't capturing it to the degree that I think it can be captured. And that was really what it almost put me in my old school. Like the old head part of my brain was like, oh yeah, you gotta go watch, you gotta go scout all these guys. But like
Yeah.
it's real, man.
How'd you feel hearing Griffin Conan be introduced at Lone Depot Park? That was really cool. That was the biggest round of applause outside of Sandy.
That was weird in all the in the best way possible, man. Right? Like I've been going to Marlins opening days with my dad for up until he passed away. We went to I don't even know. I was trying to think about when the first one was, but it's got to be 12, 13 years. All those intros, we never missed them. They're so much fun. And now having the intros and it's a friend of mine was very very surreal. And I'm just so pumped for him. And he actually put a 100 mile per hour EV on a splinker there. It was an error,
Mhm.
but hey, well, hard hit rate, we'll take it 100%. But that was really really cool, and see Mervis get his name called was really awesome. And yeah, and the roof's open. It's always a little bit more magical at Lone Depot.
That was amazing, and it was a magical finish. Kyle Stowers, a guy who hit what like 170 something last year, 187 against fastballs, slugged 280, and saw him 60% of the time. Like this guy would tell you it's a blue zone, four seamers at the top of the zone, 94 plus. He turned on 96 elevated from David Bednar for a walk-off single. I that was it was just a perfect way to end opening day. And from a place of like, I don't know, from my perspective, that was just, it was a perfect day
It's
for this,
poetic.
for this first day on the gig.
Here now, can I flip it on its head? Bednar, how much runway do you give this guy before you just take him out of the closer role? I know it's opening day, but this is bleeding from last year. He was bad this spring.
Yeah.
The Pirates can't blow saves if they want to try to have a magical season here and hang around. This offense is a problem as well,
Yeah.
and in a bad way. Not the good problem, the bad problem. I
Yeah.
know they're going to get Spencer Horwitz back. I mean, the only guy that provided their offense, like Kirk Gibson himself,
Yeah.
Nick Gonzalez went deep. I love to see that out of him. That was also kind of surreal. Guy that I got to know broadcasting on the Cape, and then seeing him, in that lineup as well, opposite of Mervis, who was on that Cape team too, was really cool. But Scorched one out to left, and then he thought it was a double probably off the bat, sprinting, tried to slow down, pulled his hammy, had to hobble around and left the game. I'm guessing. I don't know what the actual injury was, but that's what it looked like. That sucks. But that offense, man, like it's not good at all. And if you're blowing saves out of the bullpen too, like it could be a long season for the Pirates.
Yeah. I don't know when they make that decision. It feels like Holderman is the better option right now to throw the ninth inning.
Was it Dennis Santana that came in?
Dennis
throwing
Santana came in. He was the
his
first arm of the
sliders were
bullpen.
gross
Yeah,
from
I
back
mean,
there too.
he's another option there. And speaking of option, Kyle Nicholas is starting the year in Indianapolis, which I thought was bizarre. I think that guy
Bizarre.
can handle a major league eighth inning, maybe even a ninth inning if you give him a
I
little bit of
think
runway in the eighth.
I think Nick York is better than four bats that they had in that lineup. And I think, again, I just want to hammer it one more time before we get into the rest of these teams. And I don't, I want to cover teams without just always harping on the negatives. It is reprehensible that the Pirates did not spend on offense. It's embarrassing and it's ridiculous because this is such a good team on the pitching side. They could have spent on the bullpen too, but it's from a starting pitching perspective, so good. I just think it's really sad what they did there. But the game itself was a blast. The Marlins mounting a comeback, and I think it was just see as many pitches as you can against Skeens. They were able to do that, so he didn't go 7, 8 innings. Get to that bullpen. That's what they do. O'Neal Cruz was a disaster in center field as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
He made a throw that made no sense. Run was already going to score. That was the third run to bring it within one. Runner on first base advances to second, even though there's no play at the plate. He throws it home, and then the next AB single ties the game up because O'Neal Cruz basically gifted somebody getting into scoring position, misplayed some balls in the outfield. He's a frustrating player, man. It's an interesting experience.
How long have we known that he's a frustrating player?
You just kind of hope that okay, another year, maybe things change, and he just sets the tone this year with one of the more frustrating games that
You
you're
know,
gonna
I
see.
I guess I can like sort of understand a misread on the Fortes triple,
That one, somebody asked me in the Discord, which one would piss you off more? I said, not even close. The throw
the
home
throw
would piss
home,
me off more.
the
You
throw home.
basically just advanced the tying run 90 feet for no reason.
No reason. And he just wanted to show off the howitzer. It's like, oh, I'm in center field now. Let's see the arm. And it's like, okay, well, that cost you a run. And thankfully for the Marlins, it cost them a run. But
Yeah.
that's something that they've been preaching all spring. Capitalize on miscues. Like, take advantage of mistakes. The number of times I've heard extra 90 in Jupiter this past month is crazy, but like Otto Lopez capitalized on that extra 90 feet. You capitalize on mistakes. That ballpark was electric yesterday. Like it was very, very fun. And before we move on, like just a huge thank you to the Just Baseball like fan base because the amount of love that I got
It's
yesterday
so
was
cool, man.
insane. And I can't thank you guys enough. I'm living my dream, and I don't know. Yesterday, just it made it all feel real because of you guys. So I thank you all.
It's so cool that you can live your dream, but then also have this base of amazing people who have followed you along that path to the dream, still supporting you and and cheering you on as you're doing it,
Yeah.
which is really cool. And I mean it is like been amazing for me to just watch the reception that you get, the support that you get, and how excited people are for you. It's earned, but it's so special too. And yeah, I want to thank our audience too. And I promise we're not going to be doing like 20% of these episodes on the Marlins. It was just
No.
we were both there, and it was a really special day for Jack specifically. And I got to listen to you in the ninth. You nailed that call, and that's actually why I want to play it for everybody else here real quick before we get to the next game.
Whatever.
In the 0-2, Stowers rips down the right field line. That gets in, and the ball game is over. Kyle Stowers with a line shot down the right field line, and it's a walk-off winner for the Fish on opening day.
All right. Any critiques?
It was all right. It was all right. Yeah, not your best. You'll get there.
I loved that one. That was a great reply.
That was the only negative comment I
It's
saw.
my favorite reply, though. Constructive criticism. That gets in. I didn't say fair ball. I should have just said fair ball. But, I will tell you, Kyle Seeloff also nailed that call on the television side. Like, that was just so much fun. Kyle was experiencing his first day as a TV play-by-play announcer. And I think the Marlins fans are really lucky with Kyle as the TV guy. So that was awesome. He also put out a great note. 7 walks drawn by the Marlins yesterday. They walked 7 times. They did that twice all of last year. And they did it on opening day. 7 walks drawn. The boys are going to take some pitches.
Oh, it's that's been what's been being preached there, right? Swing at strikes.
Swing
Just
at
keep
strikes.
swinging at
Don't-
strikes.
Swing at strikes. Don't swing at balls. And 7 walks drawn. That was awesome. So it's all about plate discipline, baby. All right, let's get to the rest of the slate here. It was a very, very fun slate. And again, I tried to watch as many condensed games as I could, but yesterday was a little chaotic. Let's start with Yankees Brewers. That was a 4-2 win for the Yankees over Milwaukee. The winner was Carlos Rodon, 5 1/3, 1 run. He K'd 7. Freddie Peralta, 5 innings, a 2-run ball. He K'd 8. Devin Williams got his first save in a Yankee uniform, but he did allow an earned run in the ninth inning. Were you expecting Vinny Capra to have the first homer of the MLB season?
No. No, I also wasn't expecting some of the just the performances that we saw. There's some really interesting performances across the game. I did like a condensed game recap as well, and then also just click through a lot of box scores where I could just jump right into the videos and see all the swings. Some crazy swings yesterday as well. But Vinny Capra is not who I had on the bingo card. But that's why this sport is so fun. Devin gets the run out of the way, but they get the save. I feel like that's going to be the only run he gives up now for like several weeks, and he's going to lock in. But yeah, it's a fun one.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting ball game, and like you had what Sal Frelick with 2 hits.
You had
We heard-
Wells with the Yankee Stadium only homer just to start the year off as
that
well.
was great. The unicorn was important.
Just classic. I would say if you're a Yankees fan, and Peralta had a nice start, he got a little bit just Yankee Stadium in 5 innings of 2-run ball 8 Ks. Like you're going to take that. The Brewers are going to win most of their games if that's the case. Like that's just if their starter goes 5 innings of 2-run ball, their bullpen's going to do what it needs to do. But I think if you're a Yankees fan, you got to be really happy with the start from Rodon, who it's just an adventure. You never know what you're going to get from him. And if you're getting 5 1/3 of 1-run ball and it was just that home run, 7 strikeouts, only 2 walks, you got to feel really good about that, especially with no Cole. Like you need Rodon to be the higher end Rodon that we've seen at points. If you're gonna have a chance to get back to where you were last year, and then handing it over to the bullpen, like this is what we kind of expect from the Yankees bullpen, right? Like if they can get the Luke Weaver scoreless innings and the Mark Leiters or whoever else can plug in there, that's how they're going to win games. But it all starts with the starters. And I think Rodon did a great job of setting the tone this season for them, because if Rodon had the home run frenzy that we've seen him have in the past two, like I don't want to put too much stock. We're doing like opening day overreactions, but a very expected Yankees overreaction would be, oh shit, here we go. No Cole this year. Rodon's already getting bombed away on. Like this is going to be the beginning of a frustrating year.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, let's go to Baltimore and Toronto. That was a 12.
I love how you ignore, the Jackson Chorio platinum sombrero.
Yeah, I'm gonna choose to ignore
His career's
that.
over.
It doesn't fit my agenda, so I was
His
just gonna
career
move
is
on.
done. It's a wrap. He should just not play. They should rescind the pre-arb extension.
Yeah.
It's over.
Peter Apple's favorite line. He could be a college junior right now. He's the same age
Yeah.
as Jace Laviolette.
Get it out of the way, Jackson. You're gonna have a great year.
You're going to be just fine. All right, Baltimore and Toronto. That was a 12-2 win for Baltimore. Which one fits your agenda more? A multi-homer day from Cedric Mullins with 5 RBIs, or a multi-homer day from Adley Rutschman with 3 driven in?
You know the answer to that.
Mhm.
My bold take was going to be that Adley Rutschman was going to have the best year of his career, but Peter said that the Bellinger take was more bold. I do agree with that, given Adley's track record and just who he is and the fact that he was hurt. And Brendan Mortensen tipped us off too, where he's like, buy all the Adley shares. Our friend over at Masson, who I'm actually going to do a spot with later today. I'm excited to talk some Orioles prospects, but yeah, I mean, you couldn't have asked for, I think, a better way to start the year, because you want to see that Adley bounce back. But if Cedric Mullins is having a great year, you're going to be real happy as an offense, because like that's a guy that you have out there for the defense and speed. So, I mean, really exciting for them, but also just to launch, what was it, 6 homers?
Yeah.
Just teeing off. It was pretty fun to see, and obviously not the start you want from the Blue Jays side, especially in a division matchup opening day. But defensive specialist Andres Jimenez did go deep.
Yeah, a cleanup guy too, right? He was in the 4-hole. They clearly knew something going on there. Andres
What the
Jimenez,
hell?
Bichette, Vladdy, Santander, Andres Jimenez, and the newly extended Alejandro Kirk. We haven't talked about the Kirk extension. Your thoughts?
I hate it.
I thought it was really weird that they extended at the time they do. Did they get a little bit of a discount? I guess, but it just kind of felt weird to bet on a guy who was not good last year.
And a guy that they've like been frustrated with in terms of conditioning at times, and now you're gonna like lock him up and put him in a spot. Like I don't know. There was points in where they're saying, hey, do we even like roll this guy out there as consistently? It was amazing to see him bounce back, and I think he's a really good catcher, but probably not the guy that I would be shelling that money out towards. And I know it's totally different than some of these bigger contracts that we're talking about with the Vladdy or wherever, but I'm just not allocating funds that way right now.
No.
If I'm the Toronto Blue Jays, I'm pretty pissed that Peter talks me into this over because I know it's an overreaction in the first game, but just looking at that lineup in real time, I'm like, this Blue Jays win total is not going over. And I'm pissed now because this lineup, man, like you hope that Santander duplicates what he did, but then you also could see how rough these things can get pretty quickly. I mean, I still think Springer might be a DFA candidate by later in the year, so we'll see. But I mean, if you're batting Andres Gimenez cleanup, I don't know if you're going to win a lot of games with your bat. So you better keep runs off the board, and they didn't do that in their first time out here.
One more thing on the Blue Jays. Again, like one more negative before we move on. Yariel Rodriguez through the 8th inning, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 homers against him. Yariel Rodriguez came into a game that was already out of hand. They were losing by like 7 or 8, and he allowed 3 runs in the 8th of garbage time in baseball.
Yeah.
What's their plan with him? I can't figure out what they want Yariel Rodriguez to be in Toronto.
I think they're trying to figure out what role he can get outs in most effectively. And he was hurt too. He gets banged up. So I think it's find some success relief wise and then go from there. Also, shout out Ryan Mountcastle popping a 116. That's a laser beam.
How about that? All right, Boston and Texas in Arlington. Red Sox got the win 5-2 in 9. It was a 3-run 9th inning. Garrett Crochet got the ball for the first time for the Red Sox. 5 innings of 2-run ball. He walked 2 and K'd 4. It took him 88 pitches to get through 5 innings. That was a big takeaway for Red Sox Twitter. I saw it was like, hey, he's got to be more efficient with his pitches. He was efficient at points last year, and then there were some starts where he was snelling it a little bit, and I mean, not Robbie Snelling, Blake Snelling it, where he was just spraying things around, and like it would take him 60 pitches to get through 3 innings, but like there are 3 innings with 1 base runner. It was just deep counts. He was seeing a lot of 3-ball counts. So Crochet had that. Eovaldi was excellent. 6 innings of 2-run ball, 9 Ks, and no walks. This was a great pitching matchup. Red Sox just put it away late.
I mean, I understand the efficiency conversation with Crochet, but opening day against one of the best lineups in baseball where there's really not, I mean, there's not really any ABs off. You could say maybe it was Kevin Pillar, but Pillar's hit lefties his whole life. So, like, that's a lineup where, you got to be careful through most of it. I can understand not being as efficient as you want to be, but Eovaldi was my big takeaway because I'm just waiting for this guy to look like most humans would after double TJ getting into their later 30s.
Yeah.
Nope. Sitting 95 overall, punching out 9. It's a great outing, but I mean the early takeaway here, the overreaction from this game is
the Rangers is untouchable.
Oh yeah, he's untouchable. Is the Rangers bullpen going to do them in a lot this year? I mean, I'm just looking at the names of who passed it over to who after 6 innings of 2-run ball from Eovaldi. It's Robert Garcia to Chris Martin, who I do like is in his farewell tour here, to Luke Jackson, who ended up blowing it, and then Sean Armstrong. There's not a lot of arms in that bullpen I trust necessarily outside of who they added in Chris Martin. So that is just something to monitor there. And then on the flip side, we kind of saw the 18 bullpen from the Red Sox, which we've been wondering just how that's going to look because you have the ever volatile Aroldis Chapman. You have the often injured Garrett Whitlock. Both those guys were fantastic in their first outing. Then Slayton, the stuff is great, was just banged up a little bit last year as well. Those 3 guys could be great relievers for them this year.
That fastball is outstanding from Slayton. I saw it in the spring, and I was blown away by that fastball. And I was watching guys get blown away by that fastball.
I say it to this day, like, and you can look back at the Rule 5 previews just so you know it's not hindsight because it's always easy to do with the Rule 5 guys. I could have never watched Justin Slayton throw a pitch, and if you just exported his TrackMan data, I'm protecting that guy from the Rule 5 draft. I have no idea how he slipped through the cracks for a very now smart pitching organization in the Rangers, but I'm sure they're kicking themselves on that one and kind of rubbed it in their face there on opening day.
Yep.
But I think if you're the Red Sox, Wilyer Abreu being the guy that kind of puts your offense over the top, who had a great year last year, but him being the guy, like if he's getting off to a hot start, everybody else is going to swing it at points this year. So I think you got to be happy with this start to the season.
Yep. Philly and Washington. In Washington, it was a 7-3 win for the Phillies in 10, a 4-run 10th inning. Phillies got homers from Harper and Schwarber in the 7th. Keibert Ruiz was the only run against Zach Wheeler with a solo homer. Wheeler, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. The Mackenzie Gore hype train is full steam ahead.
Oh, yeah.
We weren't wrong. We were just early. Mackenzie Gore, 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and 13 strikeouts. Mackenzie Gore, I saw this note from MLB, the first guy to put up a line like that, no runs, no walks, and 13 Ks since Bob Gibson on opening day. I mean, the young Kershaw has arrived. We were promised a young Kershaw when he was 16, and here he is.
So, actually, an interesting takeaway, and Lance Brzezowski does a great job of just, I think, diving into the pitch data week to week, start to start, and just seeing some tangible changes, especially at the start of the year here, because you're going to see what guys have been working on through the offseason and in spring training. And Lance had mentioned that Gore is throwing a different slider that has a little bit more break to the glove side, which I think is actually huge for him because his biggest issues last year was actually left on left. I don't think he had anything working well enough horizontally to get lefties out, and he was a reverse splits guy. So in this lineup here that has a fair amount of lefties in it, this adjusted slider, I think, really had Phillies hitters uncomfortable. One, because I don't think it was probably in the scouting report as much, and two, it was a much more effective pitch left on left. That helped a ton. But then, of course, with Gore, when he's throwing strikes, it's just a big difference, and he didn't walk anybody. So I think those two things paired together to give us the best start on opening day that anybody had. And I'm interested to see if that adjusted slider continues to yield better results left on left, because he had no problem getting righties out last year.
You guys laughed me off the podcast pretty much when I put him on my Mount Stuffmore. That changeup, just watching the Mackenzie Gore changeup, man, like just don't laugh at me next time. Just give me a moment.
I won't. And I have a question. Is it Orion Kerkering or Orion Kerkering?
It has to be Orion.
That's what I thought, but Peter keeps saying Orion. It's throwing
Peter's
me off.
wrong about a lot of stuff.
Peter's got to be the worst name pronouncer out there. Like,
dude,
east of the Mississippi.
He gave us Luis Heed on Lewis Head a couple years ago.
Yeah, Orion Kerkering. I was like, it can't be. It can't be.
No,
but I didn't want to say anything because then he's gonna dunk on me. Because the one time I say something, I'll be wrong on the name pronunciation, and we're cooked. But I
mean, dude, there are a couple that just drive me nuts from Peter, and he's not on this, so I'm just going to air it out right now. Zach Geloff, he says all the time. It's Geloff. Michael Toglia, the G is silent like lasagna. It's a Little Wayne lyric. Tolia. And then the other one is Ha-Seong Kim. He keeps saying.
There's always that Seong. Oh, that one does that. That one does kind of.
Yeah, it's Ha-Seong Kim.
Oh, it's like nails on a chalkboard. Oh, yeah. Peter, I hope you hear this.
No ball, man. Get better.
This is your intervention. I love you, though. The bullpen, though, from the Phillies, we kind of saw the A-team there.
Yeah.
Matt Strahm being healthy is great.
Yes.
But Kerkering to Romano, who I say A-team, he's supposed to be. He didn't have a great outing there. But we'll give him some time. To Alvarado, to Strahm, like that's pretty fun.
I think so. I was curious. I was going to follow up and ask you, like, do you think, and by the way, pronunciation guide for MLB, Orion Kerkering. We're good. Do you think Romano was a good pickup for that price point? It was, what, $6 to $8 million?
It was 8.
It was 8.
They signed him for 8. The Blue Jays non-tendered him at 6.5. So I was making fun of Atkins for that. Maybe Atkins was cooking.
I'm just
But
saying,
still,
like,
but the thing is if the Phillies were, if a team out there was willing to give him 8, and that means that some other team was probably willing to give him 7,
yeah.
you still probably should have shopped him a little bit better. But I don't know. I don't love it. It was a really bad year, and there's a lot of other relief options out there, and I'd probably rather pay a little bit more for. I mean, isn't David Robertson still out there?
I think so. Like, you would rather have David Robertson than Romano? I think so, based on the
I
year
think I
last year.
would. I understand Romano probably has a higher ceiling or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't really need that much more ceiling. You have Kirkering, you have Alvarado. I would want just a reliable, just back end guy. I think this is going to be kind of a saves by committee. Like you're not bringing in Romano, like, oh, he's going to shut down the ninth. You can have the ninth. Clearly not. He didn't even come in the ninth here.
Right.
I would have preferred to have a more reliable arm personally.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Cleveland and Kansas City. And I think the biggest takeaway from this one was the guy that did not start on opening day. He was supposed to. Tanner Bybee was scratched. He was sick, and Ben Lively got the ball. The final score in that one, Cleveland won 7-4 in 10, a 3-spot from Cleveland in the top of the 10th. Ben Lively, 5 innings of 3-run ball. Cole Reagan's 5 innings of 3-run ball as well. You got a homer from Manzardo and a homer from Vinny Pasquantino as well. What was the whole deal with Bybee? He was scratched, and then one of our clips, your interview with Bybee, surfaced about him eating Chipotle before every start?
Yeah, our Bybee Kwan interview, like we were talking about how Bybee eats Chipotle before every start. So then people, I guess the TikTok algo goes crazy.
Yeah.
I just started resurfacing that video, and to the point where I think Bybee he put out a tweet. He's like, "Dude, I was sick so early yesterday. I didn't even have a chance to get to Chipotle." But I think Guardians fans were like, "Thanks a lot, Chipotle." Like, here we go again. And I saw somebody put out a tweet out there of like the Chipotle stock graph. And it's like Bybee scratched with an arrow right there, and like the stock went down like a penny. But it was pretty funny. He cleared the air. I do feel for Tanner because it's such an honor. I know how much it meant to him to get that opening day nod. But you know what? He also got extended, so he got paid. I know that definitely hit even more. Great extension for the Guardians, by the way. Not just saying that because Tanner's a friend of the show. Great move there to keep him around. He's only going to get better. And yeah, he's gonna get his start, and he'll be fine and be out there. But I was excited for him to get that opening day nod. He still got it figuratively as he deserved, but that was unfortunate. But I mean, Ben Lively plugging in there and gave him a chance to win. You go 5 innings of 3-run ball when you're not really even expecting to be starting that day. You got to respect what Lively did, and then you look at the bullpen. It kind of picked up where they left off, and that it also does include Class A giving up a run. But I mean, I'm not going to be worried about Class A.
No.
The bullpen was phenomenal again from the Guardians.
Rinse and repeat. And Andrew Walters is not in there. Pedro Avila went to Japan. Is that right? Like, I mean, dude, they churn and burn. Like, Franco Aleman was a guy that I was expecting to be there. Sabrowski was a guy that I was expecting to be there. And obviously Walters, and none of those three were there. But this is going to be the best bullpen in baseball because all those guys are going to factor in at some point. But I want to go to Mets Astros, and I did really like keeping tabs on this one. There are very few guys I'm rooting harder for than Cam Smith. After the announcement from Joe Espada and his mom coming in to let him know that he's a big leaguer, to the emotional media availability after the fact where he was crying, to, like, I mean, he had 15 to 20 people in that section yesterday, and for him to get his first major league hit and his first major league plate appearance on the first pitch that he saw too. You've been high on this guy on the baseball field for a long time, but everything that I've seen over the last month or so, it seems like he is 80 makeup, and I mean, he's going to be one of my favorite players in Major League Baseball.
Oh, I mean, I've been collecting his cards like Infinity Stones, not just because I think he's gonna be a great ball player, but he's just it's such an easy player to get behind, and just to see what he's doing in right field too, to force a team like the Astros' hand that is perpetually in the hunt, to say not only I want to break camp as a guy that's only played 30 professional games, but I'm such a force offensively that I want you to experiment with me in a different spot and bench not bench, but like relegate a vet and Chas McCormick. Like, I think that's a testament to how much Cam Smith impressed them not only on the field, as you said, but this is a team of vets. Like he had to have impressed them with the way he goes about his business as well. So love seeing him get that knock, and just I think he's a rookie of the year candidate 100% just because of now the opportunity, but the ability as well. Did you have Jake Myers being the only multi-hit guy for the Astros in this one?
No, I did not. I was also going to say I didn't have these offenses combining to go 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position and leave 19 men on base. But testament to Framber Valdez, who was Framber Valdez yesterday. 7 shutout innings, 4 hits, 4 Ks, and 2 walks. Bullpen gave us another heart attack. I'm sorry, Astros fans. There's something about March and April that just gets to Brian Abreu and Hader. Like, they both looked so fragile yesterday. Yeah. I will give you one thing that cannot happen. If this Clay Holmes experiment is going to work in the starting rotation, he cannot be walking 4
No.
and run a strike rate under 60%. Clay
No.
Holmes, 4 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned. He walked 4. Holmes in 4 2/3 through 89 pitches, 53 for strikes.
Yeah.
They are fragile in the rotation. That cannot be happening with Clay Holmes.
I'm hoping, first MLB start, opening day, maybe some jitters there. He looks so good in spring training. But yeah, you're a guy that's been getting ground balls and whiffs, but ground balls, like attack the zone. I'm not too worried about it or anything. It's just one start, but I'm with you. If he's walking guys, that's going to be a problem. So hopefully he bounces back next time out. But I mean, yeah, it was not what I was expecting him to shove. I can't lie, but it's not like he had an easy matchup right out of the gate. The Astros in Houston, your first career start on opening day, and you've got Altuve, Paredes, Yordan, Christian Walker. Like that's not easy. I don't envy that situation there at all.
No. Going to Cincinnati here. Obviously, the environment was the big takeaway. Other one here is the Giants beat the Reds 6-4. Logan Webb, the starter, 5 innings, a 3-run ball. He K'd 5. Hunter Green, 5 innings, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Green painted 100 on the outside corner a couple of times, and Hunter Green looks like an ace in Major League Baseball. He looked like one last year, too, and he was a Cy Young sleeper. He was maybe the most underappreciated pitcher in Major League Baseball last year because he wasn't ever once really getting that Cy Young love. I think a lot of people look to San Diego for those sleepers at the midway point last year, like a Dylan Cease and a Michael King. Hunter Green's a frontline stud, man. Like, I loved watching this condensed game this morning.
I mean, he hit 101 3 times. That's gonna be tough to beat when he's locating it now the way that he is as well. And you look at, I mean, the one home run he gave up, it was a sweeper that or excuse me, I think it was a fastball that just got clipped by Ramos, if I'm not mistaken. But like, it wasn't even really a bad pitch. It was a 3-2 fastball at 99 on the bottom outer third. Like, it was the low outside corner. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap, and it was a 344. It was a GABP homer. It was one of the ones I said I still can't hit.
Great American Ballpark. Yeah.
Backside just floats 2 rows deep. That's probably not gone in a lot of places. I mean, he was darn near, I don't want to say perfect, but he was darn near like it was pretty much close to perfect. And then not the perfect game sense of perfect, but if he doesn't give up that home run, it was 8 Ks, 1 walk, 5 innings, and sitting 99-4. If he's doing that, this is an over that I love because we talk about the depth that they have as well. If Lodolo and Green, if this is the year where they finally can do it in tandem, I'm buying all the Reds shares, and that's my overreaction from this one. But it was just great to see this Reds lineup mostly healthy. You have no Steer, but McClain back in. I know he didn't do anything, but just having him in the fold. Another sneaky surprise cleanup spot was Gavin Lux. He picked up a knock and got on base twice. And I will say this was a team that struggled against Logan Webb last year. To get him for 3 earned, I think is a win. And that was all they really needed to kind of get the momentum going. But then unfortunately, the bullpen blew it late. And that might be the story with the Reds, though. If something comes back to bite them, it's going to be that bullpen blowing it late. I don't even know if Alexis Diaz, like, I'm curious how much of it really was an injury versus I mean, it was really rough for him again, just maybe a little bit of a phantom IL. I hate speculating on those things, but
Yeah.
if there was a phantom IL candidate, it was probably him.
There's also like there's no position more volatile. I don't know where volatile came from. More volatile than a major league reliever. And
Yeah.
I don't care if you're at the top of the game when it comes to closers. Like Emmanuel Clase needed to take that Instagram story of him walking through all of his awards. But like, how many guys have we talked about that are at the peak of their powers and then all of a sudden they're not? We've talked about Alexis's brother like that. We've talked about Edwin Diaz like that before, where he'll run into points where it doesn't look like he can close a game for the New York Mets, and then he looks like the best pitcher that the world has ever seen. I like James Karinchak at Fall from Grace. Obviously, that was probably a little aided by something like an adhesive substance.
Yeah.
But like even in Abner Uribe in Milwaukee, he's not even in a conversation right now. Camilo Doval, he's not in a conversation to be the closer for San
And he
Francisco
turned down
right now.
reportedly a lot of money. I don't know if that's true or not, but like it's a believable enough report because he was that good, Camilo Doval. So like, yeah, I agree. It just shows you the volatility there. But credit to the Giants here putting up 4 in that 9th inning, and I mean stringing together good ABs. And I didn't really understand why Wilmer Flores was still in this lineup and still getting opportunity on this team. And
Bob Melvin knew.
he goes deep, and that was the difference, a big one for him.
Atlanta and San Diego. San Diego with the 7-4 win over the Braves in San Diego. Michael King really struggled. 2 2/3, 4 hits, 4 walks, and 3 earned runs. Tatis and Machado are proving that this lineup is the most top-heavy in baseball, but it helps when Tatis goes 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored, and it helps when Machado is 2 for 3 with a walk and 2 doubles and 3 runs scored. So these guys are going to be fine. Riley and Albies homered for Atlanta. My takeaway is just like, we know 1 through 4 in that Padre lineup are going to be productive. Like I factor in Merrill into that as well, and I think Arias is going to get his base knocks. After that, they got a homer from Gavin Sheets. That's awesome. How many more is he going to hit? I'm just not sure about 5 through 9 in that Padre lineup.
So it's funny. I'm thinking about it more and more, and I'm like, they might be able to just platoon their way to having the back end of this lineup be
Palatable.
successful enough.
Yeah.
We'll see, but that's kind of my overreaction from this game where it's like, okay, Sheets also had a great spring. You put him in situations where it's a good matchup for him. He's going to hit the ball hard a lot. That could work. You have Jose Iglesias who just I wouldn't say demolishes because he doesn't demolish anything, but just wears out lefties.
Yeah.
And that's a guy that you could put in spots like that as well. Yuli Gurriel historically wears out lefties. Hayward, maybe can try to put in situations where he hits righties a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe that's not enough, but I could see them platooning their way into, like, they just need the back end of this lineup to be league average offensively. And if they're that, and the top end guys are doing what they're capable of, watch out. Fernando Tatis, mechanical change, big leg kick gone. Now it's early kind of toe tap where he gets to his spot like way before the pitcher even like releases it, essentially. He's there. That might give him more time for better swing decisions if he's able to keep his weight back. He also talked about his leg just being back under him in general from a base stealing perspective as well. He took 2 bags there too. Very fascinated by that. Also, Manny Machado, who was banged up last year, more upper body stuff, but he stole 2 bags as well. If Manny Machado is feeling rejuvenated, it's not like he's 40. That could be amazing. I think that the big things I'm looking at here is, what does a healthy full season of Tatis look like? And then can Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts kind of find a little bit more youth this year? Because, again, both those guys aren't 40. Like, they still have 8 years left on their contracts or whatever it may be. So, I mean, that can be the difference for this team. But, I mean, when you look at the Braves side, it was a good game overall. Just one hit across the board for, like, everybody. They just didn't quite have that pop. And Chris Sale was good, but he wasn't excellent. And that's just kind of what the difference was overall.
It's all San Diego needed. White Sox with an 8-1 win over the Angels, and Tim Anderson and Yohan Moncada's return to the south side of Chicago. Moncada got booed. TA got a standing O. I thought that was funny.
That's great.
Where were you when the south side stood up? Austin Slater, Andrew Benintendi, and Lenine Sosa went yard. Miguel Vargas had a multi-hit day. That guy, like, I actually think he's still a fine major league hitter. Like,
Yeah.
people just kind of forgot about him and they thought, oh, like I feel so bad for Vargas. He went from the Dodgers to the White Sox. He became a meme at points last year.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
I mean, I had him as like a top 50 or top 60 prospect at one point. I mean, the bat has always been really reliable contact wise, and the EVs have always been solid enough. So, I mean, he could end up becoming a nice piece for them. But Peter's Sean Burke agenda is off to a great start as well.
Excellent start. That is the sweeping takeaway from this one. Sean Burke, 6 scoreless, 3 hits, no walks, and 3 Ks. Is he a cut ride fastball guy? I was watching that fastball and it looked really uncomfortable at 92,
Yes.
93.
Yes, yeah, he is, and that's I think just why he's going to be able to kind of deceive his way to success. A lot of weak fly balls, things like that. So once he was able to kind of perfect keeping the ball in the yard and executing that a little bit more consistently, but honestly, he has like I think it's more of just the true ride, and he gets plus extension as well. It's 7 feet of extension, and it'll just kind of take off out of his hand. Then he's got the slider, the curveball. He'll sprinkle in the changeup. I mean, this guy could be a really solid arm for them, and he's kind of house money when you look at the other names that are going to be coming up soon enough. When you have two of the best left-handed pitching prospects in baseball, in Hagen Smith, and then of course you've got Noah Schultz, who's the best. This is a really interesting situation. If Sean Burke can prove that he's even at least a 4, then you can really start to map out that rotation as soon as next year or even end of this year. One thing I want to mention before I stop here, Ron Washington's going to piss me off this year, and
Where are you going here?
the way that he handled Ryan Johnson was a fucking joke, a fucking joke. Like Ron Wash, I've never seen a guy. It's like he really wants rookies to earn it. I guess you're in the wrong fucking organization, dude. You're in an organization where they're going to fast track rookies. Ryan Johnson didn't throw a minor league pitch.
No.
And I understand that you want to make these guys earn it. You're not going to baby them, blah, blah, blah. You're old school, Ron. I love it. Great. Whatever. I think he's the worst fit for this team for that exact reason. Ryan Johnson had a 1-2-3 inning. And then it was, get back out there, kid. And then it was a struggle. And he just left him out there. And it was 5 earned. I think, and I get being tough on your young guys, and certain guys need it, like Nolan Shanwell when he apparently couldn't wake up in time. Like, I get that. I get it. But pick your spots. I think Ron is a little too old school sometimes. And it's like, I don't even know if this is a new school, old school thing, though. This is a rookie who skipped the minors, who looked great 1-2-3, who's a reliever, and you're leaving him in there and just kind of hung him out to dry. And I understand that they maybe needed some innings or whatever. It's opening day. How many innings do you really need? You really need to stretch a guy out like that? I thought it was weird.
Yeah, I was going to say just like welcome to Major League Baseball, Ryan Johnson. Welcome to pro ball in general. We saw him throw a little bit in spring training, and we saw him throw in the Freeway Series, like the exhibition between the Dodgers and the Angels. And it was cool because Ryan Johnson was selected with the comp pick that the Angels got for Shohei Ohtani leaving for the Dodgers in free agency. So it's just a matter of like if he's actually going to be Shohei Ohtani or not. And in the first inning, it looked like he was going to be Shohei Ohtani, but in the second inning, he did not look like he was going to be Shohei Ohtani. But
Nicky Lopez had to finish the inning.
I'm with you, man. Like it was not well handled with him, and I felt bad. Like outings like that, I do feel really bad for, and I just hope this is not another Sam Bachman situation where he was speed run there, he wasn't ready, and then it just kind of curtailed the entirety of his development in terms of being a major league arm. So,
well, if there's an organization that's going to curtail development, look no further.
Unfortunately. All right, the Cardinals got to win 5-3 over Minnesota. Pablo Lopez, 5 innings, 8 hits against him. Sonny Gray, 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. I have questions about how the Cardinals are going to get from their starting pitchers to Ryan Helsley. They went with Leahy, John King, Chris Roycroft, Phil Maton, and then to Helsley. And Helsley struck out the side. He did allow a base hit, but it was a scoreless ninth, and he got his first save. I will say the Cardinal offense was very refreshing. Ivan Herrera multi-hit day with a double. Arenado multi-hit day with a homer. Donovan multi-hit day. Nootbaar multi-hit day with a homer. I think Arenado's having a bounce back year. I watched him enough in spring training to feel like he was emotionally invested in bouncing back this year and proving that the trade rumors about, him possibly just being a sitting duck and an immovable contract are not true.
Well, and I think a hot start to the season for this team
Yeah.
can be all that they need. You look around the clubhouse, this team isn't bad.
No.
Right? And that's the thing is, so you look around, you're like, well, we've got Wilson Contreras, who's an all-star. We have a Hall of Famer, Nolan Arenado. We've got as solid of a role player as you could ever want in a Brendan Donovan. Lars Nootbaar is an excellent role player that just has been billed too much to break out. That has almost made him now overhated. You got young, fun players in Ivan Herrera, Jordan Walker too, and I think that's a big one as well. Like Walker hit a ball 117 miles per hour. If Jordan Walker gets off to a good start and you have Victor Scott, who looks like he may have found some things offensively, and I don't think anybody in that clubhouse is doubting Mason Wynn. I'm not trying to do the roster resource thing here, but my point being, you look all the way around and you're like, shit, man, we can win some ball games. And we've got more arms in AAA. I think that can be really invigorating to Arenado as well. I keep going back to that Sonny Gray press conference where he's like, yeah, we didn't add anything. It's a little depressing, but like, we'll see. When we get going, like, we can get going. It's one of those things where I do think a good start to the year could really make this team believe, and I believe I think they've got talent. So I thought this is as good of a start to the year, but I have the same questions as you. Is like, how are you going to get to Helsley? Once you get to Helsley, this game's over, man.
Yeah.
Most of the time, but I think they do have some minor league options to potentially do that. They could always add if they feel like they should. Sure. I know this is the team that we're always talking about subtract, but good start changes everything.
Yeah.
I think they can figure that out, but their bullpen arms did their job.
One quick thing on Minnesota. I just looked at the lineup card and I was like, ooh, I don't love this. I know a lot of people really like Matt Wallner because he can hit some homers. Wallner was 0 for 4 with 2 Ks. You're going to get a lot of those games. If you've paid attention to Matt Wallner in the minor leagues, you're going to get a lot of these. And
this is not the Schwarber leadoff thing. I don't know why he's leading off. Schwarber walks. Wallner walked 9% of the time last year. He struck out 36. Wallner should not be leading off.
No, I mean, Wallner, like, you get guys on base for Matt Wallner. If he runs into, 15 3-run homers over the course of a season, that's awesome. But, like, that's where his value is. It's not like he's not one of the breakout power bats in Major League Baseball. I don't think he is. He strikes out too much and doesn't walk enough to be that guy. But you go Wallner, Correa, Buxton, Larnick, who had a really good year last year. He went 2 for 3 today. But then after that, Jeffers, France, Willie Castro, Miranda, Bader, they got to get healthy. And again, like we're pushing the rock up the hill right now, right? Is that Sisyphus? Which one is that? The rock up the hill.
You're asking the wrong guy there.
But dude, I mean, I'm asking the Twins to get healthy so the lineup card looks better, and that's an impossible task for the Minnesota Twins.
This is the one where Peter and I went back and forth the most on the over/under win totals. I don't see it. It's my overreaction here. Is like this lineup could just be one. This could be the most frustrating lineup in the league because of the talent to strikeout / injury like gap here. That I mean, you saw it last year. They fell off a freaking cliff more than any other team, I think, in the final couple months. So hopefully that doesn't happen this year. Super early. But I think a big part of this is on the back of Correa and whether he can extrapolate what he did last year before going down into 140, 150 games, which would be one of the better shortstops in baseball still.
I was right about Sisyphus. That was Albert Camus. Sisyphus, a cunning king, is condemned by the gods to eternally roll a boulder uphill, only to have it roll back down each time he reaches the top. A futile and repetitive task represented the absurdity of human existence.
You nailed that.
Nailed it. There we go. Couple more games we got before a quick weekend preview here. Tigers-Dodgers. That was a 5-4 win for the Dodgers. 5 runs on 7 hits for LA, 4 runs on 9 hits for Detroit. Tarek Skubal got hit with a 3-run home run from Teoscar Hernandez. That was the big blow. 2 homers against Skubal, 5 innings, 4 runs. He did only strike out 2. Blake Snell walked 4 in 5 innings of 2-run ball. I'm going to say it again. I know I said it plenty over the last few years, and I understand that he has 2 Cy Youngs to his name. I strongly dislike watching Blake Snell pitch. It's not fun for me. Like spiking breaking balls to allow a run to come in to score on a wild pitch and sailing fastballs, and then you lock up a guy with 97 because it's the first fastball he's seen for a strike in 8 pitches. Like it's really no fun for me. And I understand why he's really good because at the end of the day, he's the best 5 and dive guy in Major League Baseball. I just see a lot of value in going through 7 innings, and this guy just doesn't do that.
If I were a hitter, I don't think there's a guy I'd want to face less. Effectively wild with effectively wild, and then there's effectively wild with 70 grade stuff, and that's what Blake Snell is. That's a nightmare. But that's why even his bad outings, he can still give you 5 innings of 2 runs. I mean, the big takeaway here has to be Spencer Torkelson.
Yeah.
I mean,
where were
dude,
you when Torque?
When were you when Torque walked 4 times? The craziest part is they walked 6 times as a team. So 4 of the 6 walks were Torque, and he homered. Another sneaky cleanup guy. A lot of funny cleanup guys this opening day. Shit, that could be huge if he can keep putting together good ABs. And it's not just in this game. Like, we saw some life this spring. So, I mean, it was cool to see. What was the reason why Kerry Carpenter didn't start? Was it just because Blake Snell is starting?
Yeah, lefty on the mound.
I've already cursed a lot on this pod. But
It's opening day. Like, get
what
your
are we
best hitter
doing?
in the
It's opening
lineup.
day.
Get
He's your best hitter
in the lineup on opening day.
Like, I mean, this isn't even before. Like, didn't they say that he was going to hit against lefties more?
I think so.
Or the dog's about to come in here because she thinks I'm like in danger. I promise I'm okay. Maybe. I don't know. If they do this again, I don't know if I'm going to be okay. It's opening day. I understand you're not home. You're playing the Dodgers. I don't care that it's a lefty-lefty matchup. Let your best hitter, maybe not all the time in the postseason, maybe not all the time during the regular season. It's opening day. You had Ryan Kreidler in center field.
Yeah.
I just don't get that.
I'm with you. I'm with
Manny Margot had 2 hits though. So like I get it. I get the matchups thing. I get it. But I don't know. It drives me nuts. That's my biggest takeaway. Shohei homered, Teoscar homered, and Tommy Edman homered. And
homered.
Other days, Mookie will homer, Freddie will homer, Muncy will homer.
They might win 160 games.
There's a good chance. They're on their way.
Where were you when Zach Gallen just Ford? 4 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, and 4 Ks. A whole bunch of 4s for Zach Gallen. It was a 10-6 Cubs win. Justin Steele, 5 innings, a 3-run ball. He struck out 2 and walked 1. Gino Suarez went deep. So did Ian Happ. Multi-hit days belonged to Happ. He had 3 RBIs as well. Nico Horner, 2 for 4. Miguel Amaya, 2 for 5 pair of doubles, and 5 RBIs for the Cubs catcher. Shout out the Cubbies, man. They might just win that division.
I mean, that was maybe one of the more shocking performances, I think, of opening day. But I mean, they swung it well across the board, wore out Gallen, who actually out of the gate, I'm like, oh, he might shove today. And then got to him. Got to Ryan Nelson as well. I mean, just teed off on him and then added a couple more for good measure late in the ball game. I was watching that as I was like drifting to sleep. The one thing you talked about, the Blake Snell experience, much more subdued, but I do not enjoy watching Nate Pearson pitch. I know he's had injuries and things like that, but there's not a lot of guys that can make upper 90s just not look good like that. And I don't mean to like hate on the guy. This bullpen, I think, is going to be a problem.
Yes.
That's my overreaction here. Pearson, 2 earned. Great. You got a scoreless inning from Thielbar. And then Porter Hodge is your guy, probably. And then Presley ends up giving up a run as well anyways. And I don't trust Presley as your 9th inning guy consistently. They made it work because they got a big lead. And they're going to win a lot of games because they're going to outslug teams because this offense is nasty. Yep. I love seeing a healthy Nico Horner and what he adds to this team as well. Like this might be one of the more fun lineups in baseball that isn't the obvious answer.
Yes.
But damn, man, I don't know. I don't like this bullpen.
How old do you think Caleb Thielbar is? Like, effective Twins lefty. How old do you think he is?
He's got to be old, like sneaky old, right?
38 years old.
Oh my God.
I would have never guessed.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Ever.
I
I
would have said
saw that and I
32.
was dumbfounded. I was like, no way you're 38, but he's 38 years old.
Here's what's going to happen. I'm just going to call my shot in advance here. Cubs offense is going to be so good. Their pitching is going to be so frustrating overall that we're going to see like a major like panic trade. That said, I do wonder if the Zaire Hope, Jackson Ferris performances, and then the Cam Smith performance, if he's playing well in Houston, if that Mike Elias's Jed Hoyer a little bit here and he ends up sitting on his hands, we'll find out.
He just holds everybody. I could see it. Last one that we got to talk about real quick is Seattle and Oakland, the A's. 4-2 the win for the Mariners over the A's. Luis Severino, 6 scoreless innings. He walked 4. He struck out 6. And Sevy let out a couple of primal screams at the end of some inning-ending strikeouts. It looked good. Logan Gilbert, I don't know if it's a batter's eye thing or not. I think Logan Gilbert's a top 10 pitcher in baseball. He threw like a top 5 pitcher in baseball yesterday. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 8 Ks, and no walks. Only guy that took him deep was
Tyler Soderstrom.
Yeah.
This is my other agenda overreaction. This is one of my favorite breakout picks of the year. 2 bombs. Sign me up. I'm excited to see what Soderstrom's going to do. If Soderstrom is swinging it like we think he can, like where it's 30 home run power, but if he's hitting 25, this lineup top to bottom has a lot of power. And don't forget Miguel Andujar, like we joke, he was putting together some decent ABs last year before getting hurt.
Yes.
If that's like another platoon bat off the bench that you spot start, like there's some depth here as well. They're going to get some guys back eventually too. And I don't know. I think it's interesting here. That said, you're going to need more than just two solo shots from Tyler Soderstrom.
Yep.
And that's how, I mean, look, the Mariners are going to win a lot of 4-2 games, man. And I will say, though, it was nice to see that offense come alive late and not just totally fold. Because it was like, here we go again. But no, they scored 1 in the 7th, 3 more in the 8th. And then you're going to trust Munoz to shut the door. You're going to trust the bullpen to do what they do. But I think the biggest takeaway from the Mariners side, aside from Randy Arozarena pillaging baseball, is a 111-mile-an-hour home run with a bat spike. Love that.
Yeah.
112 line out as well. But Jorge Polanco, 3 hits. I took the Mariners win total over because I was like, I think a second year hitting in that whatever disappearing ball environment that they have.
Can't be worse. Yeah.
It can't be worse. And actually, it's already better by a WAR perspective. I think he had 0.3 last year. I think he already has 0.4 after last
a little
game.
half a win night. Good for Jorge Polanco.
How about that?
Jorge Polanco already worth it, and Brody Hopkins can throw 200 innings at a 1.04 ERA, and Randy Arozarena is still worth it. So
yes,
that's what we got. Quick weekend preview to tie a bow on this episode. Today, I'm just trying to pick out some interesting ball games. Tanner Houck and Jack Leiter in Arlington. Who you got?
Oh man, my enjoyment. I have that. That's my pick. I will be enjoying it. I'm so pumped for Jack. He earned that shit, by the way, too. Like he was amazing. Where's the game again? You said in Texas.
In Texas.
If it was in Boston, I'd be a little bit more nervous. Just like Jack might get BABIP'd a little bit, but I think Jack makes a statement in this one, and I think they put together a nice outing there. I'm a little bit nervous about the bullpen after that, but I think they get to Houck, and I'll go Rangers.
In Houston, Tyler McGill against Hunter Brown.
I think the Mets bounce back in this one. Hunter Brown. I think the obvious pick would be Brown shoves, and he's coming off of a very shaky. And so I know it was spring training, but he walked 5, and I watched that. You watched that one, right? Wasn't that against the Marlins? Oh, it was split squad though.
Split squad. I was not there.
Rare instance where you're not going to get a Marlins reference there. Yes. You weren't actually at the game,
right?
But I don't know. I think they wear him out a little bit with the plate discipline bounce back here, and the bullpen was taxed. What did 35 pitches from Hader? He ain't throwing again. You know his rules. So I think the Mets come back and get one here.
In San Diego, Reynaldo Lopez against Dylan Cease.
That might be one of the more fun pitching matchups we got here. No,
it's a good one. It's a good one. I side with Cease. I think Cease is putting together, contract year, start of a contract year for Dylan Cease.
Give me bearded Cease.
Yeah. He's got to clean that up. It really doesn't look good.
No, I'm not a huge fan of it.
Not a big fan. And then tonight at 10:10 Eastern, Yamamoto against Flaherty.
Oh, man, that's fun. They can't win again, can they?
I don't think so.
A fresh Kerry Carpenter, since he didn't have to play the whole game yesterday. Flaherty, but facing the Dodgers might be a little weird, right? Tigers finally get one. Come on, they got or not finally get one. The Dodgers finally lose, I should say.
Okay. How about Roki Sasaki and Reese Olson on Saturday?
Actually, I take it back. Dodgers win this one again, then they lose the Sasaki start.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Okay.
Olson has been great. I think he's gonna have a really good year, barring it just if he can stay healthy.
How about Verlander and Lodolo in Giants Reds on Saturday afternoon?
Lodolo shoves. I think Lodolo shoves. Verlander, good until the home runs creep in because he's a fly ball pitcher with a home run problem at this stage of his career in Great American Ballpark.
Yeah. Okay. And then that might be it. I'm looking at Sunday as well. How about Smith Shawver against Pivetta? Atlanta, San Diego on Sunday.
I'm liking a Smith Shawver statement. I think Pivetta. I think this is a sneaky pitcher's duel. Smith Shawver. I love what I saw from him in spring training. I think he's found the command a little bit more. Pivetta always starts the year well though too. I go pitcher's duel, and I think the Padres bullpen though outlasts him a little bit.
One more for you. I'm not asking for a winner. Predicted line for Jacob deGrom on Sunday against the Red Sox.
I'm going to say 5 innings, 2 runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks.
How many hits?
5.
5. Okay. I like that. All right. That's what we got. Every link you need is in the episode description. That is your opening day recap. I hope you guys really enjoyed Thursday and you're looking forward to this weekend of baseball. It's back. Like we've got something new to talk about every single day. This is the best time of the Just Baseball show calendar. I like the off season's fun. It's better to have baseball back.
This tempo is so much more fun too. Yeah, I love the long episodes on special occasions, but being able to keep you up to date with everything going on through the regular season is a blast. One last plug to the Discord. We'd love to have you in there. I'm going to be keeping you up to date with everything going on in the prospect world there, like recaps pretty much every day of hardest hit balls, performers, things like that. Of course, we're going to be doing stuff on the Major League side as well. We might have a fun contest going in there as well that like win predictions, things like that, with some giveaways there. So we'll keep you posted on that front. But I'm really pumped about that. And might be doing some box breaks in there as well. So it's just kind of baseball wonderland in that Discord, and want to do everything to make it worth your while. So would love to have you in there. And don't forget to switch your audio. Kyle Seeloff, fantastic. This is not a Seeloff knock. He's awesome. But you can do it on MLB TV, right? You can switch the audio over to Jack if you want to listen to it a little bit. Can't you do that?
Choose your broadcast option with the audio overlay. But I think Marlins fans are spoiled personally.
Yes, I understand
have a lot
that.
of bias on the radio side, but Kyle is amazing on the TV side.
Kyle's amazing. This is a podcast of listeners of people who know you. So some people were like, wait, how can I do that? And I was like, yes. They're like, I would never inspect that feature because normally you're just going to watch the TV side of things.
TV,
just listen to the
amazing.
TV.
Yep.
Listen to Seeloff. He's great. But if you want to hear Jack, you can switch the audio too.
There we go. All right, guys, we will talk to you Monday. Reminder of the show structure in season. Wednesdays are kind of used as a flex. So sometimes you'll hear no show on Wednesday. Other times you will hear a player interview or, coach interview, things like that. So Wednesday is kind of our interview/flex day. We're guaranteeing 4 episodes a week. So Monday, You've got the roundup. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, you will have episodes of the Just Baseball show. And sometimes, probably 2 a month, right? Every other week or so, you will hear a Wednesday show on the Just Baseball show. So Arm and Peter will have the weekend roundup for you on Monday. We will talk to you then.